farm in World of Warcraft Classic. I know there's a lot of videos out there like this kind of explaining how it works. I found that some of them skipped some nuances that make the pull a little less intuitive to learn. So I'm going to go over those things now that helped me learn it as quickly as I did. I've been doing this for about 3 days. I've made about 3,000 gold just by raw vendoring. I could actually pull up my instance tracker just to see how many. Yeah, we've been doing this a lot. Minus a few of these aren't Stratholme, so we have like about 74, 75 runs or so. Each one of them, once you get it down, takes about 9 minutes to do. So divide 3,000 by 70. That's going to be your average gold, and then, you know, do more math to figure out how much that is an hour. I can't be fucked. But this will just be a very simple guide on how to do it. We're going to be starting at the service entrance, and before I do the pull, I'm going to mark the packs that we will be using abilities on. The abilities that we use to pull all have cooldowns that don't line up very well if you don't use them very particularly. So I'm going to go through and mark. From time to time, there's going to be some rare mobs. You're going to make sure to pick those up because they will always drop a blue item. See, there's one right there. So that you can kind of visualize the path that we're going to be taking here, because all of this is done in 3 separate pulls. We're just going to be doing the entrance here and then this circular area. We don't mess with the monastery, we don't go over into undead, it's just all of the packs in this opening area. It'll be about 200 to 230 on average, depending. Sometimes you can kind of brick picking up some of the packs, and that's okay. You just want to make sure the pull is done as smoothly as possible. The buffs that you got to make sure that you have on: Sanctity Aura, Righteous Fury for the extra stamina, and Blessing of Sanctuary. The only consumables I use to make this a little bit smoother is Superior Wizard Oil on the main hand, and Spicy Crawdad just for the stamina food buff. You don't have to do those, just in my experience, makes it a lot smoother for me. Depending on how much spell power you have on your gear, you might want to bring elixirs or just whatever you can, cheap ones, just to make sure this goes a little bit faster. So we're going to start right here. We're going to start with Turn Evil. As soon as that goes off, we're going to run to the side. We're going to Exorcism that other pack, and we're just going to beeline it. As soon as the mobs start getting kind of close to you, you're going to want to strafe run, just so you don't take the damage of being attacked from behind. Pick out a caster in that other pack. Use the racial. Body that pack on the caravan. Then as soon as we pass Moon, Exorcism. Hamstrung here, but I'm really close to the kill zone, so I'm just going to slowly backpedal to it. You're going to activate Seal of Wisdom, and you're going to put it on the highest health add in the pack. That's going to be the Patchwork Horror. And you're just going to be putting Consecrate on cooldown. As soon as you get low health, you're going to pop your Figurine of the Colossus, and you're just going to keep working them down. Something to keep in mind, you want to pay attention to this Judgment of Wisdom debuff you have on your focus target. If it's slowly going down, because you should be, resetting it instantly every second, then you know that you're facing a direction that you're either not blocking or attacking on a certain side. So you just want to adjust that. And you just want to keep adjusting your positioning here. While you're learning, you could do either Divine Shield or Blessing of Protection, but while you're learning, I would suggest Divine Shield, just so there's plenty of margin of error here. Divine Shield. Heal 2 or 3 times, depending on how much health you have left. And if you have time, Holy Wrath just to make this quick cleanup. Readjust. You need to pop a mana pot. If you're getting low health again, just slowly back away from the packs here, because the ravaged cadavers are going to keep spawning adds that explode that do a lot of damage. So backing away slowly while laying the consecrate mitigates that. You're definitely going to pick up a speedy loot add-on, because otherwise this takes a long time to pick all this shit up. Usually goes a lot cleaner. I've never tried to like explain how to do this step by step as I'm doing it, but got it done anyway. Also want to check these supply crates as you run through. The Stratholme Holy Water does kind of help a little bit. Not as much as like grenades would, obviously. I'm just not an engineer. Just because they are AoE capped. They won't do as much damage as like grenades or bombs would do. After doing that first pack, you're coming down through this south gate so that we could set up the next pull. This next pull is going to have a lot more adds in it. So if you are doing Blessing of Protection and Divine Shield interchangeably, you want to save Divine Shield for this pull. Should be about enough. We're going to be sneaking past these adds until we get to the main entrance. Pull is going to happen from right here. You'll target the closest add to you in that backpack. Exorcist, turn and run. On this pack, you're going to want to stop and slow cast Turn Evil. Then immediately start strafing. When they get on you like this, Holy Shield just to mitigate the damage. You want to mitigate as much damage as possible on the pull here. Exorcism that pack, and just start strafing. As soon as you get here, back to the corner, start consecrating. As soon as the Abomination gets here, Seal of Wisdom it. Once you get to about 25-30% health, pop the trinket. The Patchwork Horrors do the knockup. So you see me get hit by the knockup a few times. You're going to want to readjust yourself every time he does that, because there will be mobs that get in behind you and just will do more damage than they should be doing. So just be safe, readjust it every time. And the only abilities you should be casting during this time is re-upping your Seal of Wisdom, Consecrate, and Holy Shield. If they are sharing a cooldown, like coming off cooldown at the same time, you're going to want to prioritize Consecration. So I'm getting low health again. I'm going to Divine Shield. Heal a few times, and then because I have time left, Holy Wrath into the Consecrate, Holy Shield, and then back away from the exploding cadavers. And it's cleaned up. If I'm remembering correctly, and I haven't gotten any since I've started, which is completely just complete AIDS, but the world drops that'll be on the loot table. Curl Blade's one of them, though I don't think that goes for that much anymore. But it is possible to get Skullflame Shield, which depending on your server, Skullflame Shield is selling for quite a bit because it's typically, or it's used quite often in the Paladin farming. Well, that's cleaned up. And we'll go to the start of the next pull. Try not to body anything on the setup, because that'll just completely fucking brick it. Okay, so this is going to be another pull where we start with turn evil. Turn around, exorcism that pack, and immediately just start strafing. Make sure your shield's up. We're going to be running through quite a few packs as we're pulling them, so it is kind of important to make sure that you're dispelling the slows as you see them, and also just keep Holy Shield up. Ideally, you want to get to the kill phase with about 80 to 95% health. It's possible to recover if that doesn't happen, so like don't panic. Don't just like throw it away if it doesn't turn out perfectly. Like you have a lot of sustain. Pick this guy up. Judgment of Wisdom, Seal of Wisdom. And we're just kind of chilling. Starting to get low. This pack is very caster heavy. So of course if you're playing a Blood Elf, as soon as you activate your trinket, you're going to want to Arcane Torrent so that all the casters are meleeing you and actually activating the trinket so that it's actually healing you. If for some reason your Seal Judgment is just not giving you the mana you need, it's mana pot, it's no big deal. And then I do not have Divine Shield right now, so don't panic. You could just use Bop, works just fine. You just have slightly less time, so make sure you get those heals off immediately, and don't try and finesse a Holy Wrath in either. My mana is also getting kind of low, so I'm going to start trying to mitigate damage as much as possible by kiting the cadavers. Even try and clean up with the Holy Water. It is pretty common on this pack too for the boss and this abomination to just not be quite dead yet, which obviously is not a big deal if you have mana to clean it up with, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So you just clean it up. I'm actually just gonna, for the mana, lay on hands myself. And easy. Now that is the full pull. Probably should have timed it, but I mean 11, 12, 13 minutes will be about the average time it takes to clear this. The better gear you get, or if you're running with consumables, it's going to be even quicker. Pick up this chest. So just the one run, that's about half of a full inventory space if you got, beefy bags on you. You're going to want to go sell everything and repair every other run. Even if you don't have to sell, it's super important that, whether you have a repair bot or if you're just running back to Light's Hope Chapel, you're going to want to repair. In just that one run, my Titan panel is showing I have 92% durability, but if I hover over it, you can see almost all of that durability damage is done to my shield. You cannot do more than 2 runs without repairing. There have been so many times where I forget to repair, I come in on the 3rd run, and in the middle of one of the packs, either this one or the other one, my shield will just break in the middle of the pull, so you can't cast Holy Shield, you're no longer blocking or mitigating any of that damage, you just die pretty much instantly. So super important you remember that. Also, quickly go over some stat priorities here. You do not need raid, epic level gear. The only thing you're going for is meeting certain stat thresholds. So if you look at my dodge, parry, and block percent chance, as long as those three numbers combine to about 40% or more, then you have that mitigation that you need. In addition, your defense, I'm pretty sure I saw it calculated that obviously don't need to be like the normal defense cap that you would be if you're tanking like Serpent Shrine Cavern. Because these mobs are level 40 or level 54, level 55, you only need like 420 defense, I want to say. So you don't feel obligated to stack like these items that just have raw defense rating on it, because after a certain point, it's not benefiting you in any way. Bigger stats are just parry, dodge, and block. Health wise, I mean 10,000 or more health, you're fine, and mana is pretty much completely irrelevant. Because as long as the pull is done smoothly, you get that abomination on you quickly, and you have a really good uptime on your seals, you're never going to run out of mana. And you're always going to have mana pots on you that you can either bring them yourself, and they also drop in here. All these major mana pots have dropped in the instance, so you always have mana as a resource. You don't really need to worry about that. Talent-wise, this is the talent setup I use. It's a little different than the normal tank spec. I put 2 points into Guardian's favor instead of spell warding, just so I always have some kind of life-saving ability on that's off cooldown. There are a couple other talent setups you could use. So this one is just the normal Sanctity Aura Prot Paladin talent setup. So if you are normally just a prot paladin, you do not have to change your talents at all to make this work. And then also here, if you reach a point where your gear is good enough and you don't have any problems with survivability, you could put the points that you would normally put into these survival talents into Vengeance, just to double down on the amount of damage that you're doing on the pull and make them even faster. At a certain point, though, it doesn't really matter if you're going faster, just because, I mean, 5 instances an hour, you'll just lock yourself out. I've locked myself out, so going for just raw speed probably isn't worth it. Just the safe survivability, what I'm typically running, or just the normal prot paladin talent tree is good enough. Most important thing, and it's the only thing that makes the pull possible, is Figurine of the Colossus. That is found... War Chief Kargath at the end of Shattered Halls. It is impossible to do this pull without this trinket. As soon as you get the trinket, like I said, as soon as you meet the stat thresholds, you'll make it work. That's the only thing that makes the pull possible. So as long as you have that, you could probably make it work with what you have. I'm a main spec Holy Paladin. There's some pieces of gear, like I don't have tank bracers. My shoulders just have defense and strength and stamina, and I have a healing trinket. So you could, like, even if you're just like throwing a bunch of random shit together that doesn't really make sense, as long as you're reaching the stat thresholds, you're perfectly fine. Spell power wise, bare minimum spell power you're going to want to come in with is like 350. The sweet spot is like 400 to 450 spell power, and then obviously anything more than that, it's just kind of overdoing it, not super necessary. But yeah, that's the Stratholme Bowl. If you have any questions, feel free to say something to me, whisper me in game. I'm on Sulfuras, or if I'm probably going to throw this up on YouTube as well. So some comments down below. Ask me any questions. I am definitely I don't care. I'll answer whatever question you got for me. But that's it. That's the Strath poll. Again, 3 days I've been doing this, and I've made 3,000 gold just doing it casually. So if you need to find a hustle, if you have a paladin, alt, or main, super easy to get the setup. Like I said, it's just this one item off the final boss in Shattered Halls. and just getting the bare minimum stats, and you can basically become the Federal Reserve Bank of your server. Super easy. That's it. Hope you have a good day, and peace out.